and welcome to another What Sold video. This is everything that sold for me for the second week of July, so July 8th to July 14th. It's only eBay sales, so I'm going to scoot over and go ahead and get into it. The first thing is this 90s Lizwear striped short net shirt. I've talked about these 90s knits. I do well with them. I don't sell them for a whole lot, but they do consistently sell for me. As those of you that have been here for a while can attest, because you keep seeing them in my What Sold videos, this sold for $10.94, and I paid probably $1 for this. This is a copy of the I don't know how to say this word. I still don't know how to say this word. I know I looked it up and I listened to the little robot lady tell me, and I still can't pronounce it. But it's from 1997. I ordered this for sale and whatnot. Didn't sell and whatnot, but it did sell on eBay for $6.87. Of course, it's free shipping, so I made maybe $1 off of this, which I'm happy with. This is from the 80s. Great times. Again, the brand doesn't matter, but these little button fronts, these vintage button fronts also do well for me. Again, they don't sell for a whole lot, but they do consistently sell. Great boxy fit. It was longer than most of these button fronts are, but it had some pastel stripes. I thought it was very cute. Sold for $12, and the buyer, of course, paid for shipping. Towns, Trails, and Special Times. I found a couple of these Marlboro cookbooks. Marlboro. I have to say it as two separate words, or I cannot say it. This is one of the words I will never be able to pronounce coherently together. I can only say the two parts, Marl and Boro, together. Otherwise it's Marlboro. And I don't know why I can't say it properly, but anyway, I found two of these. You got these for free with the little cigarette points when cigarette companies could do that. This sold for $8.47, which is my full asking price. I found this at the bins for 50 cents. Speaking of cigarettes, beer advertising used to do something similar, and this is A Taste of the West by Coors, another vintage cookbook focused around a wonderful legal vice. This sold for $9.87. I also found this at the bins. I also will just pick up vintage cookbooks overall because they do sell for me. This is from the 70s. It's a New Orleans cookbook, and it sold for $11.58. I picked this up at that big bag sale, and I'm very grateful for that. I would love another bag sale because that sale was awesome. That was a great first sale to find. This is one of the items I picked up at the bins. It didn't sell on whatnot, but it did sell on eBay. I will pick up these little vintage scarves or handkerchiefs whenever I find them because they, especially when they're vibrant patterns like this. This actually had flaws. It had like one or two little holes in it. Still sold as long as you disclose it, doesn't matter. Sold for $5.84. Now, that's not a lot, but considering I paid like maybe 10 cents for this at the bins and it's a super easy listing, I will continue to do that. This is another Ben's find. This is a New with Tags Eddie Bauer piece. Legend Wash curvy stretch chino shorts. Sold for my full asking price of $19.87. I probably have like $1 into this from the bins, and it sold for my full asking price. So this is part of why I will pick up Eddie Bauer, Columbia, LL Bean, like all these outdoor brands when I'm at the bins because I can get them for really cheap and they do consistently sell for me, especially when they're new with tags. Pair of 511 shorts. I paid for these at regular retail price, so I paid $5 for these. I sold them for $10. It was more to see how far 511 has fallen. Apparently the answer is very. These I took on offer of $10 because I had them for a while. You can see I listed these in January, and so I was just happy to get rid of them 6 months later. Sold for $10, so I made my money back plus a little bit of profit, and I know that unless it's at the bins, that 511 is on the do not pick up list. However, Huit Habitat is very much on the pickup list. This is one of those brands that when I made the video for, I was like, I cannot believe how high the sell-through rate is for this brand, considering I'd never heard of it before. Huit Habitat is an outdoors brand, and it had over 100% sell-through when I found it, and it had a little stain on it. I got the stain out, so I was able to list it. And it did sell. It sold for my full asking price of $24.87. So Huit Habitat, another brand in my box of brands, mental box of brands, and also one that I will continue to be on the lookout for. Another brand that I will pick up at the bins or at Diversity when I find it is Old Navy, especially New with Tags Old Navy. I've had amazing luck selling New with Tags Old Navy stuff all kinds of Old Navy stuff. This is a pair of active joggers. I was hoping these would fit me, but unfortunately they were petite, so they were too short. They were also too big because they were size large. But you know, I always have hope. Sold for $13.50 and I paid $1 for these at Diversity. This is a trade paperback copy of The Goldfinch, which is a Pulitzer Prize winning novel. I did, you know, of course, find and sell the first edition signed hardcover of this for $100, and then now it has been on my radar ever since I found and sold that book. Of course, they're trade paperbacks and the regular books aren't going to sell for $100, but they are good consistent sellers for me. I've sold this book multiple times as of recording this video, but this I think is the first time you've seen the trade paperback sell. Sold for $8.47, so I'm not selling for a whole lot, but I only paid 25 cents for this at the bins, so I'm perfectly happy with that sale. This is also a bins find. I paid 25 cents for this book. It sold for $21.14. This is a book from MIT about the process from taking dinosaur fossils from the dig site and preserving them in order to put them on display. Also about the process of how the bones go from the bone material that, you know, we're used to the calcified rock that they eventually turn into after, you know, thousands of years of being in the dirt. But anyway, you don't really need to know that. It sold for a good amount of money. I pick up dinosaur books when I find them because they are almost always valuable. Iron Tongue, Quarterpath Road number 4. I did not find this at the bins. I found this at a secondhand store. I bought it with store credit because I saw that the amount that the secondhand store was selling it for was less than the price it was selling for online, and since I had store credit and it'd basically be free anyway, I decided to just pick it up. I offered on Whatnot first and on Whatnot, but it sold on eBay for $6.87, so I'm perfectly happy with that sale. Another item I will pick up at the bins, but this is not one of my bins find. This actually came from, I believe, Melissa. It's a Lucky Brand shirt. It's super soft. Oh my god. Whenever I find these Lucky Brand super softs, I always get sad that they're not in my size because it is literally the softest material I've ever seen. Like, I do not know how they make polyester feel that good, but Lucky Brand has figured out how to do it because I've bought and sold this shirt in multiple sizes. Never my size, but in multiple sizes. And it's always just like, I would keep this if it was my size because it's so soft. Sold for $9.50. So Melissa, thank you very much. This was in her bag of stuff that she donated me to sell. I appreciate it because she knows that I like selling Lucky Brand stuff, and then I have luck selling Lucky Brand stuff. I don't sell it for a whole lot, but it does consistently sell for me. Another book to sell that is on my radar thanks to Book Talk is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. While this book is secondhand, doesn't necessarily sell for a whole lot of money, it does consistently sell and sell very quickly. Whenever I put a copy of this in my store, it sells. I paid 25 cents for this at the bins and it sold for $6.47. So I'm not making a whole lot. I'm making like 60 cents maybe, but I'm perfectly happy because otherwise this book might have ended up in the landfill, and we don't want that. We want more books in people's hands, the stories being read again, and if that's not for you, don't do it. I'm no shame in your game, no shame in my game. I love buying and selling and preserving books because they mean a lot to me, so I'm happy to do that. This is The Tubes. It's from 1975. I found this at Goodwill. I paid $2.25 for this. I'm sure absolutely nobody but me knew this band, which is why I had been languishing at the Goodwill for forever. This is a relatively unknown and underground punk band from the 70s. Think about the time of The Clash and the Ramones. I know it because that's the kind of music I like to listen to. And so I enjoyed this record until it sold, and it sold for $14.87. So happy that a vintage vinyl found a new home and a fellow punk rocker got a really cool album out of it. This is a viewer sale, so Denise, thank you very much. I still hope you are healing well from your surgery, and this means a lot that you would buy from me. She bought this 90s extra large La Sarissa pink top, really cute. And then this 2XL Carl and Ellie, which is from the Disney movie Up, t-shirt that I found at the thrift store. She paid $31.74. You see that it says refunded on here, and that is because regardless if it's one of you or if it's a random person on the internet or if it is just a random buyer on the internet. If there is a shipping overage, I will refund it. And so I refunded her $4.12 of shipping because I do flat rate shipping, and there is no way that these two shirts cost $11 to ship. So I definitely refunded the overage. And Denise, I really, really appreciate you buying these from me, and I hope you enjoyed them. And again, I hope you are all healed up now, and thank you. This is a UK import of the book Psycho by Robert Bloch. I believe I found this at the book sale, and it sold for $10.94. So, you know, very little into this, and it sold very quickly after listening. So this I'm very grateful for. These Hanes manuals, I pick them up whenever I find them. They sell quickly for me. They don't sell for a whole lot, but they consistently move in and out of my store. Some sell for more, some sell for less. It just depends on the vehicle. I was definitely going to pick this up because it was based on the 70s Ford Broncos and pickup trucks. I own a 2023 Ford Bronco. I have very much a love for Broncos, so I definitely was going to keep this out of the landfill. I paid 25 cents for this at the bins. It sold for $8. Same thing with this GMC pickup Suburban Blazer. This sold for $8.05. I picked it up at the same time as the other one for 25 cents, sold for roughly the same price. Probably the biggest win of this week is this Tommy Bahama shirt. I know there are a lot of people out there who don't pick up Tommy Bahama. They say it's oversaturated. They say nobody buys it from them anymore. Well, I found this at the bins at the bottom of a fresh donation pile. People just did not... People at my bins have a tendency not to dig all the way down to the bottom, and I found a bunch of really amazing, like, large and extra large size men's polos and button front shirts. Tommy Bahama, FootJoy, Rowback. I found there was a couple other ones. I found Howler Brothers as well. Amazing pile of shirts. This was one of them. This was brand new with tags. It was an extra large camp shirt. It was a Mixmaster Marlin embroidered back Tommy Bahama silk shirt. The actual retail price on the shirt I think was over $150. And as you can see here, it sold for my full asking price of $104.87. So I probably have a little bit, maybe more than $1 into this, because my bins prices are like $1.29 when you get over 20 pounds, and I did get over 20 pounds this day. I think that this is a great rate return on my, you know, a little bit over $1 investment. I will still pick up Tommy Bahama when I find it because it does still perform for me. This is a 1964 copy of Inherit the Wind. Inherit the Wind is a classic play, court play. And this sold for $9.87. This was a permabound. I pick up permabound books whenever I find them, also known as like library bindings. It's like a pocket hardcover. I really like them. They're normally made for libraries, so they're meant to be used and abused, and so the binding is normally really solid, and they always sell for me when I find them. So very happy with the sale. I paid 50 cents for this at the bins. This is Mercedes Lackey Oathbound. This is the third book in Vows and Honor, which stars Tamra and Kethri, a mage and a warrior, in Mercedes Lackey's Valdemar series. If you are curious as to why I know so much, it's because By the Sword, which is a standalone book in the Valdemar world by Mercedes Lackey, the sword is tattooed on my body forever, so I really like Mercedes Lackey. And these two in this book are characters that help out Carowin, which is the main character of that book. It's their story. Anyway, this is the third book in that series, sold for $6.87. I will pick up Mercedes Lackey's when I find it because they sell for me and because I personally don't want to see any of her books go to landfill because I love her writing. This is a pair of Heritage Mint Blue Willow mugs. I found these at the Dav in Gloucester for Mother's Day. The Gloucester Dav after doing lunch with my mom for Mother's Day, and I found these. They still had their original box, so these are roughly from like the 80s. They sold for $21.87 and I paid $4 for the pair at that Dav. Blue Willow is a great pattern to know and look out for in vintage wear. Some Blue Willow is a pattern that's been printed by multiple companies, multiple makers. So the pattern matters, but also the maker matters. So just be mindful if you are picking it up. I've talked about 100% linen Tahari pieces a lot. That's because they sell for me roughly in this $10 to $20 range. This is a size large and it's a 3/4 sleeve V-neck collared like lightweight linen blouse sold for $15.19. I will continue to pick up 100% linen Tahari because it 100% sells for me. This is retail arbitrage. I pick up these Doc Martens at one of those big stores that does bulk buyouts of other retailers and then sells them for a price, you know, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Kohl's, whatever. Any of those stores. I bought these there. I paid $44 for them. They sold for $78.50, so thank goodness I made money off of these because I am terrible at retail arbitrage, which is why you don't see me doing it on here very often. And trust me, the same time I bought these, I bought some other shoes that have just been languishing in my house. So that's why I don't really do retail arbitrage on this channel, is because I'm bad at it. But this is a win. Grateful for this win. It offsets all the losses. Not very well, but some of them. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. That's what sold for me the second week of July. I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye! Bye.